Alright, so we are finally to the last of the 4 Masters of the Universe Origins figures that I found today, and this is Stinkor, the evil master of odors. So, there's a nice picture on the back here of Stinkor facing off against Mossman. So hopefully that means we'll be getting Mossman soon. And it says, "The sickening, foul stench of Stinkor can bring even the mightiest of Eternia's heroes to their knees." So, for those of you who don't know, the original Stinkor figure had patchouli oil mixed in with the action figure's plastic. So he more smelt kind of like a hippie than it wasn't like, like rotting flesh or anything that bad, but it was, something where a kid can pretend like, ooh, he stinks, but it's not that stinky, it's just the kind of a weird smell. I don't know how to describe patchouli for anybody who hasn't smelled it before. Uh, it's got a little girl here holding the Stinkor figure and this hilarious expression on her face. And it says, "Smell for odor attack." And of course, twist and turn into powerful battle positions. It looks like Stinkor's only weapon will be a shield, like the original figure. He won't have the laser rifle that the 2000X one would have come with, or I believe the Classics one came with, and or the laser pistol that the Mega Constructs version had. Now, Stinkor, I was not able to get him in Classics, which very much disappointed me. And furthermore, I was never able to get Stinkor when I was a child because Stinkor was the one Masters of the Universe figure that my mother absolutely refused to buy for me. Because she's like, "I am not going to buy you a toy that stinks." So, so I didn't get him. I also didn't get Mossman, and that's not because Mom refused to buy Mossman for me, but she kind of talked me out of buying Mossman because she was looking at the figure in the package, and she's like, "You see how there's all this green fiber that's coming off of him? It's not like Panther where it stays on him really well. He's going to get this stuff all over the house. Do you really want to do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess I don't want to get green fibers all over the house." Well, fine. Get them all over my hands. That does seem like it'd be kind of gross. So, she talked me out of that one. But Stinkor, she was just like, "No, absolutely not." Put her foot down. So, anyway, let's go ahead and open up Stinkor. This is one of those things that's kind of funny, is that, like, in the original line, of course, Stinkor, to save a little bit of money, they reused the armor from Mechaneck. And that actually worked pretty well because he's got this mouthpiece that would cover up his nose, and he wouldn't have to smell his own stink. But it saved him a little bit of money. So it's basically like they took a merman and cast him in black plastic with patchouli oil in it, and then put this Mechaneck armor on him and called it a day. So got Rock in a Hard Place again. Great comic. Set that aside. And we've got the shield on the back. And this is based on the original Castle Grayskull shield, because that's what Stinkor came with, is he came with that shield but molded in a blue plastic. And apparently during this time period of the line, a lot of the figures just came with a shield as their only weapon. And that's because apparently parents groups were all up in arms about how violent Masters of the Universe was. Which, if you'd actually sit down and watch the cartoon, it was probably like the least violent cartoon that kids were watching at the time. I think, like, I'm literally not joking here. I think My Little Pony was a more violent cartoon than Masters of the Universe was. We're being real about it. He does not stink. He smells pretty much like an action figure. I had heard people saying that they were disappointed with the lack of stench on Stinkor. And I must say that, yeah, I'm disappointed that he does not stink as badly as he should. There's like a slight hint of patchouli. So, but I had seen where somebody said that, like, they figured out a way to infuse some more patchouli stink into him. So yeah, I might go ahead and do that. So much like with the original Stinkor, they pretty much just reused the head of Merman because it's got like a cat-like look to it, especially when you cover up the gill-like mouth. And he looks like a polecat. That looks enough like a skunk. And they did give Merman hair, so it works. And it's like the original Stinkor. They did not paint in his teeth, so he's just got like this plain black mouth with black teeth. Now, I don't remember. I don't think that the shield came with the Origins Castle Grayskull. I don't think it did. I could be wrong. Let me check. Let me check real quick. Hang on. So, I've got it closed up. So I'm going to have to open it. But, flip open these hooks. And, yep, sure enough, no shield. So, my memory ain't what it used to be, kids. So yeah, so this would be the first time that they've put this shield into Masters of the Universe, then I believe, and it's one of those funny things. Like I was talking about, how they basically reused Mechanek's armor on the original figure, but now they made Stinkor before they made Mechanek. So if they make Mechanek, they're going to wind up reusing Stinkor's armor to make him. So, and likewise, this is not an exact recreation of the Castle Grayskull shield. For one thing, and this is good, the handle on the back is much longer, so he's going to be able to hold the shield a little bit better. It's also, I don't think, quite as deep as the original Castle Grayskull shield, and you can see that this knob in the middle is solid, whereas the original one was hollowed out because that was how the shield handle actually attached into the shield. So since this is a bit longer here, we might be able to fit his open hand in there. It's a tight fit, but it goes in there, which is good, because if you're able to get like a blue laser rifle to put in his hand, then he can have that. I think that in the vintage line, they did release a web store that came with a blue rifle, but if that does actually exist, it's a really rare piece, so you're probably not going to be able to find it for cheap. If it does exist, if I'm right about that. I know that I saw it in a lot of prototype images where they had a blue laser rifle for web store, but you could give him any Castle Grayskull laser rifle if you're not too concerned as to what color it is. I think that the gray one from the weapons pack would probably be the most affordable. So yeah, the black stripe, or I'm sorry, the white stripe goes all the way down to where the armor meets. Should I open up the armor and check if it goes? It doesn't go all the way down to his waist, so it must stop at some point under there. So, yep, it looks like it just kind of barely goes down to where it meets the armor, just maybe a little bit past it. So I'm a little disappointed that he doesn't have a skunk stripe all the way down his back like an actual skunk would have. But, you're going to keep this armor on him most of the time anyway, so it's not that bad. If it's really the sort of thing you're concerned about, just paint it on there yourself. It's not that hard to paint a stripe down a skunk's back. I mean, it's how those cats get into trouble in the Pepe Le Pew cartoons. Somebody should invent a character for Masters of the Universe that's a female black cat humanoid character, and she accidentally gets a white stripe down her back, and then Stinkor falls in love with her, and they should do that. That would be funny. But yeah, so he basically reuses the entire mold of Merman, which of course shares the mold with Skeletor, so he's got the same sort of finned arms, which here are painted to be gloves, and he's got white stripes down his arms to better show off his skunkiness. And they did not use any furry pieces on this, like they did with the classics version, where they reused some merman parts to give him some fur. So you just got to kind of imagine he's furry. So, but yeah, I'm glad to finally have like a vintage scale Stinkor in my collection, since I was not able to have the original one when I was a kid. And I did get one at some point when I was collecting them as an adult, but that one wound up, the rubber band wound up breaking, and his legs fell off, and he never had the armor anyway. So uh, this at least gives me a Stinkor that I could use with vintage figures. Or, I'm collecting the Origins figures anyway, so he fits right in with that. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe and all that fun YouTube stuff down below. Tell me what you think of Stinkor. Did you have this figure when you were a kid, or did your mom refuse to buy them for you too? Do you have the classics version? It's pretty cool. It has like two swappable heads and a gas mask that clips into his mouth and a bunch of other stuff. But I was never able to get that one, so I don't have it. And there's going to be, if it hasn't released already, I haven't seen it yet. There's going to be a Stinkor for the Masterverse Revelations figures, so I figure that'll probably be a good one to fit in with my origin, or I'm sorry, with my classics, the same way that I did with Spikor. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.